It's been a year and 2 months since my boyfriend and I started on this crazy idea of living in states 1 to 3 months at a time. Looking back, it feels like it's been forever, but at the same time, it feels like it's gone by really quickly. And so we've been able to live all over the place. And we really wanted to create a video where we could showcase some of the stories that we didn't actually catch on film because they're often the things that are not fun to share. They're the things that are a little less enjoyable about the experiences that we had. But I think that they are all a part of our journey and all of a part of us moving and living in places so quickly. And so I wanted to sit down and create a video to tell you guys about those experiences and to share with you some of our most memorable and maybe some of our most difficult experiences within each state. And then I wanted to give you a recap of where we've been. And then I wanted to show you where we plan to go because guys, we're not planning to do this much longer, which is crazy. And so I want to tell you guys where we plan to go, how much longer we plan to do this, and something that I personally have been struggling with when it comes to ending this traveling. Okay, so we're going to talk about that later in the video, but I want to start with some of our most memorable and most difficult moments in each of the states that we've lived in so far. All right, so we're starting with Florida. Florida was a really, really interesting experience because it was our first time ever living outside of Utah. So if you guys were following our journey, we had a separate YouTube channel called Surprise Yourself where we were doing vlogs of our videos, and we vlogged our entire move from Utah to Florida. Now it takes, I think okay, if you were to drive straight, it takes about 1 day to get to Florida, but we decided that we wanted to stop and see specific areas of the US as we were driving there. And so we planned the trip to take us 6 days. And so we left August 2022, and then we left August 1st, 2022. We drove for 6 days. And so we got there August 6th. And so we get to Florida, and I believe it was when we had probably been there a month and a half. So middle of September, maybe I'm off with the dates, but I believe it was middle of September. And my friends, I was getting back from a trip in Orlando, and a couple of our friends that lived about 5 minutes away from us messaged me and was like, hey, the hurricane is coming in. Like, if you want to stay with us for the week, there's probably going to be no power. You can come stay with us and we can just chill out for the week. But make sure you buy extra food and stuff like that. Are you prepared? And I was like, what are they talking about? I had not been paying attention to anything because I had been at this big business marketing event. And so I had no idea that there was any kind of hurricane coming in. I was like, what are they talking about? Like, stay with them? Like, board up windows? Like, what is all of this? And so they are really chill when it comes to hurricanes, but I was freaking out. So they were like, okay, download this app and you can follow this person on Facebook that will kind of give you updates on the storm. And it was projected to hit Clearwater, which is right where we were living. We were living right in Clearwater, and the hurricane was projected to hit that area really hard. Like, the eye was projected to kind of go over that area or just barely miss it. So that was where the worst of the storm was going to be. And so I kept getting all these updates on my phone from the app saying, hey, the storm has turned into this kind of category of a tropical storm, and now it's raised and raised and raised. And the person I was following on Facebook was like, yeah, this is getting pretty bad. And then they had all of these signs over the roads, similar to what you would see over the freeway, the signs that say buckle up or things like that. They're the construction signs. They had those over the road saying like this county has been put into evacuation, or make sure you get your water supplies and things like that. And we would be going to the store and there'd be like limit on water that you could buy. And this was an entirely new experience for August and I, because we had never ever been in anything like this before. But what was even weirder is that there were so many people that just, that was normal for them. They're like, yep, we're buying our water. Yep, we're putting our shutters up. Yep, we're getting our food. Like, we're good to go. Like, we're just chilling out. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, there's a hurricane coming. And so I distinctly remember I was kind of bouncing back and forth between, well, do we leave for it? Like, our county hasn't been issued an evacuation, but the storm is predicted to hit. And that's kind of the idea that I was like kind of wrestling with on Sunday night. And then I have my sister and brother-in-law live up in Virginia. And so they were like, hey, are you gonna plan to stay in Florida? And so I was really uncertain. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. But then we wake up Tuesday morning and I had had all of these notifications on my phone from the app saying that it's now like a Category 4 hurricane and it's coming directly towards Clearwater. And then I also had a text from my brother-in-law saying, if you want to get out, you got to get out now. And all these people saying like, all of these counties are in evacuation, that type of thing. And that just freaked me out. I was like, we're not staying here. Like, what do we do? Like, we're not staying here. And so I texted my brother-in-law and sister and we're like, hey, we're coming up to Virginia. We literally, and we were worried about our stuff. And so we put some things in closets and we made sure to do our best to protect the Airbnb, which didn't have any shutters or blinds or anything like that, or boards or whatever there was supposed to be, which is another reason why we were worried about it. And so we were like, okay, we're going to put some stuff, but then we packed up some of our most valuable stuff and we're like, all right, let's go. And so we packed up our PCs. We took our little robot baby with us that we got from Disney. And we were ready to go by like 8 a.m. that morning. And then we drove all the way up to Virginia. And it took us probably about 15 hours to get up to Virginia because everybody was trying to get out of Florida. But what was crazy was when we were driving there, you could see on the other side of the road, all of these vehicles that look the exact same. They're the vehicles that have the extension on the top that they're used to fix power lines. And there were just probably, we saw like 100 all in a row, like come by, like we saw like 20 and then 20 more and then 20 more all in a row coming down into Florida. And it was absolutely crazy. The traffic was insane. And it was honestly a really intense experience. And so that kind of put Florida a little bit lower on my list of places that I want to live. It's gorgeous. Would definitely vacation there, have a vacation home there, but I'm not sure I'd want to deal with those hurricanes. So that was the first experience. All right. So North Carolina, Florida, we moved on. We're now moving up to North Carolina. And we literally just like jump started right into fall. It was like you get there and the leaves were such a vibrant color. They were oranges and reds and greens and yellows. And you go from super warm Florida summer to, okay, we're in fall now. And so that was really surprising to us to kind of jumpstart that. And we caught it like right before it ended. And so we got there end of October and we were able to see the leaves for probably the first week that we were there. And then everything was dead. Everything was gone. And it's just crazy how fast that season lasts. And I think we're going to experience that here in Maine. We were hearing in Vermont that like this season, there's like 2 weeks where the leaves are just incredible and then it's just gone. And so we're excited to experience that, but we definitely got those vibes when we moved up to North Carolina. I think the hardest thing for us in North Carolina was figuring out how to do the holidays because we had never done them really away from family, away from Utah. And so it was like, okay, well, how do we navigate these holidays? And luckily, my sister and brother-in-law, they lived up in Virginia. They were only 2 hours away. And so we were able to go up to them for Thanksgiving, and then they were able to come down to us for Christmas. But it was really an untraditional type of Christmas for us, and Thanksgiving, honestly, is that we did not want to get any kind of decorations because we didn't want to have to store them or pack them or bring them with us. And normally, like, my family has a lot of decorations. They've got trees and they've got stockings and everything like that. And that we normally made a really big deal of putting that up. But now it was like, okay, well, we don't have any of that. And so we were planning to not do any kind of decorations. But then August came up with the brilliant idea because he knows that I really do like Christmas lights. He knows that I love Christmas lights, and he knows that I love the atmosphere that Christmas decorations bring to a room. And so he's like, what if we do this? Like, what if we go to the dollar store and we set a budget for $20 and we just buy as many Christmas decorations as we can for $20? Because then it's going to be cheap enough that we'll feel okay throwing them away, but then we'll have Christmas. And it was such an amazing suggestion. We had a great time. We picked out this little tree that was probably like this big, and it was blue, it had lights, and we set that next to the TV, and we bought some like really cheap, wrapping paper, essentially, some cheap like decorations and lights, and we bought 2 little ornaments that we stuck on the tree, and it really did make it feel like Christmas again. And it was super fun to be able to do that and experience Christmas in a different way than we had before. And it just showed us that you can really make things work and adjust in whatever kind of situation or environment that you're in, and really work to create the experience that you want, even if it's not your typical experience. And there's the door.